Hey everybody, welcome back to Well That Didn't Work, episode 2 of Silent and Deadly. And I think I made a mistake in that name, based on the first episode.
No, that is perfect name. That is a best name
Because
ever.
when it gets posted on YouTube, right then and there will be a fart sound that happens.
Yes.
It's gotta be. No, there's no sound. It's silent.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Has anything been silent tonight?
No, not yet.
Apparently not.
So, my name's Percy. I'm the GM and the host of this dumpster fire. And with me, I've got Mike, and he is playing...
I am playing Inspector Clouseau.
I've also got Rick, who's playing...
Vladimir Rockmobos.
Aaron is playing...
Eric Hunt, but we just go with Hunt for our French and Russian friends over here.
And we have joining us today Katie, who is portraying...
Katiya, but I go by Kat.
Awesome. So...
Very good Russian name. Yeah,
He's good.
it is good.
If we let turn around them commies.
What did he say?
Last time...
And I hail from England.
Oh, I can tell that, you know.
Last time on
not
Silent and Deadly, Rick and Mike kind of just talked for about 45
No
minutes.
communication went on, but there was lots of words.
No, Eric went through...
That is very true.
Yes.
Eric wandered through an Indonesian slum into a makeshift bar inside of an old, tiny apartment where he found Inspector Clouseau and Agent Rockmaballs.
Rockmobos.
Rockmables. He ran into the two of them where the three of them drank some drinks, shared cigars, and passed out due to toxins, not because they were drinking drinks and smoking cigars. Vladimir was able to stay awake long enough to see three large, burly men in white suits come into the room, pick the three of them up, and carry them out to somewhere else.
I figured it was only a matter of time before men in white suits came and took us away.
You probably, you definitely aren't wrong. It took about 45 minutes.
Yes.
And we'll kind of pick back up with the first one waking up being Inspector Clouseau. You awaken and
We're in trouble.
you look around the room.
I need to paint this picture first.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so however he is positioned in the room, I don't care what the furniture is, he will find some form of furniture, and one leg will be propped all the way up, and his head will be tucked around the other direction.
Okay. So you wake up drooling on yourself
Yes.
in such a position as that, as you have described. And you look around the room and you see it's a fairly large room compared to especially the one that you were just in. The room itself is probably a good 20 by 15. It looks like kind of a conference room size and spacing. And covering the walls are like rugs hung up like tapestries.
Okay.
Oh no.
There are several couches in the room. It looks like it's been set up for meetings as nicely as they could.
All right. So what I will proceed to do is walk from tapestry to tapestry, casually karate chopping every single one of them.
Do you like walk with your hands behind your back until you get to a new one and then
Completely whistling like I'm trying to pretend I'm not even there and knock it out of the way. Now, as I get over to the couches, I'll pull the cushions off, but in doing so, I'm climbing onto the couch and going over the back of it.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
And what would you like for your difficulty?
Are you going to upgrade that?
So you're gonna roll perception, and I would like the difficulty for you to be. You only have one die for perception?
Well, what am I rolling against? What you didn't give me a skill here.
You're gonna be
Or characteristic.
the characteristic. Perception and cunning. Let's do that.
Okay.
That's a pretty high one for you, huh?
pretty good.
So your difficulty is going to be 2 purple.
Okay.
Pretty average check.
Can I add a setback for being groggy?
I've never had a player ask me if they can add a difficulty to their
But you've
check
never
before.
gamed with Inspector Clouseau before.
That's not true. I've actually had you and Jason both ask me for difficulties before. I guess so, yeah. Sure.
All right, thank you. All right, so for argument's sake, so that you can see how this works, I have a success and a failure together. So those are going to wash. I have an advantage and a threat. Those will wash.
Okay.
Now I am left with a failure, an advantage, and a threat. So the advantage and the threat will cancel, leaving me with 1 failure.
Oh.
I have failed, sir.
Would you have succeeded without the setback time?
In your knickers.
I wish you had explained that in the Clouseau voice. You see, when I take the dice and I roll them, these and these cancel out, and you see, when that all is said and done, I have
So
left a
when I get the
failure.
penguins and the targets, they don't work together. But when I get the panties and the stars, they go away.
Panties in the stairs?
Stars! Stars!
Panties in the stars.
What do you call that? You penguins, and what's the threat?
Targets.
The targets. Penguins and the targets. Okay. All right. I'm in. So
You will never forget it. And at some point in time, you're going to be sitting at your table, and the gaming crew go, gosh darn panties.
I'm just very sad that these Genesys dice don't have penguins on them.
This accidentally reminds me of the Dharma Initiative on Lost.
Yeah.
Like the.
So you fail your perception check. So you fail to see Katiya sitting in a chair, wide in the open, in the corner of the room.
Okay. That works.
What?
You just see this Frenchman doing all this.
You are watching Inspector Clouseau walk around the room looking for bugs and anything hidden that he can find, and he is entirely oblivious
Please tell me there's a lamp back there.
to your existence.
Please tell me there's a lamp back there.
Lamb back where?
Behind the couch.
So he can break it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So he comes up with a cord and his little Swiss Army knife, and snips it and shocks the crap out of himself.
And at that, Eric, you're gonna wake up
Right.
when he exclaims.
When he screams.
Yeah,
Or is it like
he shocked himself.
electrocution?
Yes.
So does his hair stand on end?
I don't know. You're wearing like a fedora, right?
No,
No. Okay.
just straight comb over.
Nice.
All right. So you wake up startled probably by his alertness, and you see of course he's got a cord in one hand and scissors in the other,
And hair only, yeah.
and you see Vladimir slumped over in one of the other chairs sleeping, and you do see Katiya, or you see a woman sitting in the corner watching Clouseau.
Well, first, I think I'm going to go over to Mr. Rock'n'Balls and make sure he's all right.
He's breathing.
He's ready. All right. All right. In that case,
Do you want to roll a medicine check to try to wake him up?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. So you'll find your medicine skill. It'll pair with intellect.
All right, so I got no medicine, so just 2 green for intellect.
Okay, and he's in a pretty deep sleep, so I'm going to make it an average check, which is 2 purple.
All right. These cancel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those, and then some left with that. All right,
You're perfect.
beautiful. So advantage.
1 advantage. So he doesn't wake up. See, 1 advantage, though. You can pass a boost die to another ally in the room if you would like to, but I would like a reason as to why you slapping Vladimir around for a second would give that boost.
Or possibly, since you might notice Katiya, you might even use that as I know Katiya. Is that a possibility?
I think with 1 advantage, no.
In a medicine check,
Oh,
I
in
would
a
say it'd be
medicine
more
check.
likely that he spots maybe a bottle of smelling salts.
Or something. There you go. So you see how you can
like that.
do the story,
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay.
Because it's not a major point, but it's something that goes in term with what you would have done roll-wise.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or possibly even you have some smelling salts on your person.
What if I see a
Oh, you decide to take a piss on his face.
Oh my god!
That is not this kind of video.
That'll wake him up.
The yellow reveal is not a great way to go.
The golden shower. Here we go.
what if I have my little EpiPen with adrenaline? Can I just inject him with that? Wake him up straight
Do you
up?
have one?
Wow, I do.
Straight.
I always keep
Oh
one.
god, what was that movie?
I'm allergic to bees, you see, so I've always got one of these things on me.
The John Travolta movie where he stabs the girl in the chest with the EpiPen.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna Pulp Fiction, Mr. Rock My Balls. Wake him up.
I just really am glad that Vladimir's not your name.
It's
Mr. Rock My
It is
Balls.
Vladimir. It's a proud family name, but Vladimir will do.
So you jab an adrenaline pin into it. Okay. Go ahead and roll a.
Do I die?
I walk around carrying Narcan.
Oh, it was the blue pen. I'm sorry.
I think a medicine check with brawn this time.
Please put some reds in there. Please put some reds in there.
You just be quiet. You do it under your own rule.
Alright, so I just got one.
So
He's
just
administering adrenaline to an individual who is unconscious that doesn't need adrenaline. There are some serious risks at this.
I am aware. I am an expert in poisons.
Yeah, but
You better take some when you're done. You better take some when you're done to counteract it.
So it's going to be one red and one purple is the difficulty.
That is total wash.
Is it? Yeah.
So
You have one in brawn?
just one.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think a daredevil I'd have a
You
little bit
think
more.
from Texas you just get extra brawn
Yeah,
just
right.
because
You got
you're
a lot
from
of agility.
Texas, you know?
Yeah, you got agility. That's true.
You're quick on your feet. Okay. I think total wash. You're still a little groggy and still a little drowsy.
Did he stab himself?
You forgot to take the cap off,
Oh, nice.
and so I'm gonna say for that
It's
pin,
a self-injecting pen. It shoots back up in his hand.
he has it backwards.
Straight in the face.
Well, I'm wide awake now.
if you had rolled like a threat or despair, I would have like had it break in some way, but because you totally washed, there's no threats. Like you still have the pen.
Okay.
So I guess make sure you mark down that you have an adrenaline pen
I do.
if you didn't already. Because apparently that's a thing.
What do I do?
So I'm gonna say because that wasn't on your sheet before. Normally, I won't make you do it now because I didn't give you the option before. But normally, if there's something not on your sheet that you want to have like that, you can flip one of these story points to say that you have it. And so, because I didn't bring that up, it doesn't bother me that you have an adrenaline shot. Cool, that actually will probably come in handy later. So you fail to wake Vladimir up in that manner. Clouseau, you see him try to stab Vladimir.
I'm just oblivious to that
Okay.
at this point in time.
He's probably thinking, I wish I could have stabbed Vladimir a long time ago.
I'm going to continue my sweep around the room.
Yeah, so you continue your sweep. Perfect.
Now, does the pounding in the chest?
Not yet. Because you fell asleep so much later than they did, you spent
But I
about
got
another-
less of the drug, too.
You did, but you spent about 30 minutes extra, like, wandering around, so it'll be a few more minutes
Plus,
before.
I spent very many years
Yeah.
making myself immune to iocane poison.
Katya, you're watching this whole thing go down.
Who am I hooked up with? That's what I wish to know.
I'm out.
Do you do anything?
Bunch of morons.
Do you do anything from your seated position? Do you get up, introduce yourself, anything like that? Or do you just continue to sit and watch?
I sniff. I sit and I watch. Such dumbasses. Just light a cigarette and start smoking.
Okay, I think at that point, Eric, you notice there's somebody sitting in the corner. Like there's a little flame. Boom.
Yeah.
Is it
Is
like
something on fire? I'm stuck behind a tapestry at this point.
Is it like a normal cigarette, or is it like you have like one of those really long like Cruella de Vil filters?
That doubles as a flamethrower.
That would be sick. That could be one of your, because you get 6 items
Yeah,
that are just
one
like
of your gadgets.
mundane
You
items
can
that are
blow
gadgets.
out of it.
It's a dark
It's a mini dart gun.
It's a very long cigarette that I use as a dart gun.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So you
I'm
light up.
tempted to use
in
it
the
right
corner.
now.
So Clouseau is clueless behind the tapestry right now, trying to find his way out.
I'm smelling fire, but yeah. It's like one of those long run tapestries that is like halfway between, trying to find the end of it, and you just see hands and things kicking. Yeah. Not realizing he could just go down and get underneath it and come out.
Right, he probably knocks it, and pretty soon he's totally incapacitated.
The whole thing lands on him. I've been trapped.
I surrender. I surrender.
It rips off the wall by the time everything's said and done. Couch cushions are everywhere. The lights are halfway turned off. Tapestries are all messed up and on the floor. Haven't made it to the table yet to mess that up.
But
Yeah, safe.
right, but through all
There
that,
are no buts here.
through all
Yeah,
that,
it's good.
he uncovered the camera that was actually filming all of us. You know? I mean, he's not aware he did.
No, so yeah, you've messed up.
The room's up there.
You've sufficiently messed up all the tapestries and the couch cushions that you could get to. At some point, you noticed that Kat was sitting there smoking a cigarette, and you then brushed off the idea of a fire in the room. After too long, basically as Vladimir is waking up, you hear a lock turn in the door at the end of the room, and the door opens, and in walks a...
I would like to make a stealth check against the wall.
You've taken off all the tapestries.
He doesn't say he'd be successful. He just
I'm just wrapping myself up and standing there like a tapestry.
I think because I don't like to make people make checks when there's no risk.
I choose to fail.
Or no chance of success.
Can I have 4 setback dice, please?
Please, sir, can I have 4 red dice?
Then he'd get a despair. He'd get like
All whammies, all whammies, all whammies. Yeah, got it.
Okay, so you back up against the wall. Ineffectively, entirely.
No, I've got the tapestry wrapped around me completely with my head still sticking out. Like,
So in the door walks a fairly tall but really lanky white man with a really unkempt haircut, kind of carrying a briefcase that he's trying to hold closed, like the clasps on it are broken, and he just looks very disheveled and unorganized, and you might say incapable. He walks in and sits down at the table,
Join
and
the right group.
Monsieur, the room is clear of bugs. We can speak
Maybe
freely.
use my dart gun on it.
So he approaches the table at the end of the room that's closest to the door and sits down, and you notice that there are 4 chairs around it other than the one that he is sitting down in. And he kind of pats the table. Oh, please come over here. Good, I see Mr. Rockmabols has awakened finally. Clouseau, please.
You wake up and the room is trash.
Well, I didn't know what the room looked like before.
You just wake up in a trash room.
What happened? Where are we?
The room is clear.
Who are you? Did you do this? And who is this guy over here too? Are you two together?
No, we're not together. Please come sit at the table. I'll make things as clear as I can
Oh, my head is pounding.
as soon as possible. How's your chest feeling?
Why is my chest bruised?
Sorry there, old boy. I was trying to wake you up.
By punching me in the chest?
Well, I'll do what I can.
I see.
It's the Texas way.
That's how I do it.
Okay, I will remember that. I will use that on you sometime. Very
I
good
believe they
idea.
refer to it as slapping your bitch.
Go big or go
What?
home.
Okay,
So who comes to sit at the table?
I will stand.
Okay.
I do not feel like sitting right
I'll come over, but I'm still wrapped in a tapestry.
Does he
Do you
roll?
sit,
He
or do you-
rolls over?
I attempt, but I think I hit the chair.
You kind of like lean against the chair.
I get up,
Okay.
I grab my seat, I
Okay.
drag it across the floor.
Is it like, do you drag it in the loudest way possible?
Absolutely.
Very like in Pitch Perfect. Like, drag it real loud across the entire room. You're very
Oh,
dissatisfied
that
with the
is not a
situation.
good sound.
And I just sit back down, cross my legs, and light another cigarette.
And Eric, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna come over and listen to what the old boy has to say.
So you just come and sit normal at the table like a normal human. Okay,
No,
great.
he probably spins it around and sits back.
yeah, I got the back here.
He's got a tall bag. You can't see him.
That would be
me.
Yeah.
But in his worm suit, so he put his both feet wrapped in the tapestry.
Drop that pen. Thanks.
Thank you.
Time out real quick. I'm gonna give a clap, so I know to cut. Katie, your mic is like super far away. When you like lean back, you're like way back here, and the mic
Sorry.
is right there. No, you're good. Just like either sit up a little or move the mic closer to yourself.
You'll see that when I'm sitting, I
Either one
usually
is
just
fine.
lean my arms right here because that puts you about the perfect spot.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
You're
it's
good.
just habits.
You're good.
I'm just being comfy.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I'm sure that we'll be able to hear you fine, like what you've been
I'm
saying.
a
I just
loud
noticed
person.
that your wavelengths were a little bit shorter than everybody
Okay.
else's, so I want to bring it up.
All right. Sounds
Not
good.
that we're saying anything about that,
Yeah, I mean, some people just have a problem with wavelengths.
That's right.
Well, I'm sure that you all know somewhat about why you're here.
No, we have no. Well, a little bit, but not much.
We've got a bead on man. I think you know him as, and he opens this.
I am happy
briefcase
to
and-
report that before you say anything, the room is clear of bugs.
Well, yes.
Why?
You've cleared it of all bugs. Thank you, Inspector.
It is my pleasure.
He flips open the briefcase, and it's like papers kind of pop out like confetti for a second, and he kind of flips some here.
Is
and
your name
there,
Mr. Dupree?
No, it's Nigel. But
Nigel.
if Dupree is a suitable code name for you to remember me by, please, by all means, I will write it down.
That would be perfect.
On
He
one of
grabs
your-
a piece of paper out of the air and scribbles it without looking down and throws it the other direction.
I'm totally satisfied.
And he kind of reaches into the briefcase and finally pulls out a dossier and says, I believe you know him as Dimitri?
Dimitri, yes. We have been looking for Mr. Dimitri for some time now.
Yes, and I think, I believe everybody will recognize the picture. I think I've got one here. And he rummages for another second and pulls a picture out like a 5x7 and slaps it on the table. And you recognize it as Dimitri, Dietrich, Dick, and Squirrel.
That is the square.
They're all D's. Everyone's a D name except for
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Squirrel.
Oh, Dicky boy.
It's a triple D square.
Oh, I see. His nuts must be gigantic.
Yes, huge nuts.
No,
Anyway,
they're quite small.
That
Little
depends.
Rodensky burying them everywhere.
I see. Very
excuse
good.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clouseau, would you mind repeating that?
I said the little Rodensky burying them everywhere.
But I mean, you've known him for longer than I have. What is he talking about?
I have no idea. I have not figured out anything he has said till this very moment. That was one of the more intelligible statements he has made.
But at this point, he's picking stuff out of his fingernails.
That is good. Just pretend like he is not there. Nod your head and smile once in a while, and we will get along just fine.
I see.
And he
So
looks
tell
up
us
with
about-
he looks up with a blank stare, and he's just staring at this old man, listening to him.
Tell us about this Dimitri. And y'all have him on your files as
Dietrich.
Dietrich? Dicky boy. I see. And squirrel.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yes? Squirrel.
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 Square.
Squirrel. See, you smile.
Squirrel.
And you nod your head.
I'm getting a headache.
Yes. Thank you.
Now, we have reason to believe that what can we call him collectively?
He is this well.
How about the squirrel?
D squirrel. I can get on with
I
that.
suppose.
D squirrel.
Absolutely sure about that.
I don't know, but I think we need to go down to the lowest common denominator that we will understand, and I think we need to go with squirrel. The squirrel.
D squirrel.
I see where you're going.
You see, yes.
I do.
Squirrel.
So,
I do.
D Squirrel.
Finally, you're speaking English.
Yes.
Kind of like these nuts. But,
You call
I
that
was thinking
English.
it, that's why I stopped
These
and laughed.
nuts,
kind of
yes.
like these nuts, you know.
These nuts. That is good.
There we go.
That
That
is
works.
good. Someone say joke about it
he's
one
good
time in
joke.
my country.
I like.
It's nice.
Okay, so these nuts.
Excuse me, mademoiselle. We are looking for these nuts. It does not work.
They are buried in the backyard. That is where my wife put them.
Oh. All right, so we're rounding out some of Vladimir's characters.
You poor man.
Vladimir's received the castration.
She rocked his balls.
Rock my bulls.
No wonder he is so proud of his name.
Okay.
It is the only balls he has.
D Squirrel has left a trail for the first time in a decade.
That is suspicious, no?
Yes, it appears that he has come out of hibernation.
The squirrels do not hibernate.
No, and I am aware that it is a terrible joke.
The Russian bear, it hibernates.
At midnight.
But he's been spotted twice already. Once in Venice and another time in Hong Kong. This is in the last 2 weeks. And the last time we saw D Squirrel moving at such a pace, well, let's say it's a good thing that you didn't hear about what he tried to do. Perhaps we can get ahead of him this time, though. Instead of acting reactively, we can be a bit proactive. If you could find his contacts in Venice and Hong Kong, maybe you can get a bead on where he is intending to attack next.
If he lost his contacts, he would be blind. This is the time to strike. No? Doesn't that make sense?
I have no idea why I'm here. These morons.
So much.
I have to give you credit, Rick. I do. I gotta stop. I gotta stop and say you win that one.
I was like, that's a dumb joke, and then you said it's the perfect time to strike.
You do not take this seriously enough.
At least it took 30 minutes this time. Oh my goodness. Well, you would be right if our man was anywhere near blind. We know that in Venice he met with a woman. In Hong Kong, we have less information, but he visited a building which, on the top of it, boasts a blue unicorn.
Blue unicorn in Venice.
No, Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong.
In Venice, he met with a woman.
I
It's
see.
we can give our best guess as to her exact address, but who knows if she would still even be there. And he kind of pushes forward a folder that has some basic information on this woman. They don't know her name or anything like that, but they know kind of where he was seen with her. And then he just kind of vanished before they could assemble a strike team. The same thing in Hong Kong. Like, they saw him enter this building. Nobody ever really saw him leave. But they did send agents into the building, and he's not there.
Do we have pictures of the woman that he was with in Venice?
Yes. Yeah, and so that'll be in the folder about her. And I know that not all of you play well with secretive identification, but it has been prepared for you nonetheless. And he stares at the first one and hesitantly hands it to Clouseau.
Clouseau takes it,
Rocky.
looks down at it.
Well, I didn't think of a funny name to give you, and I feel bad that I didn't. Now that he said Rocky, I feel like that's what it should be.
No, I would be honest with you. It's now is when you play on the whole fact that I've been getting onto him, and my code name is Boris.
Let's go for it.
You look like Boris. Yeah.
Now I get to do a bad French Russian accent.
That might be harder than you think.
I am a master of disguise. This shall be easy.
Excellent.
Excellent.
And he hands the next one to Kat. You see the name Natasha.
It's a bit on the nose, don't you think?
Handing the next one to Eric.
Moose.
Yogi.
Yogi. Hey, boo boo.
And he hands the final one to Vladimir. And man, I can't think of a funny name for you either.
Patricia.
No, it's not that.
Rocky.
It's not that. It's got to be like he.
It's got to be something French.
It's like yes.
Oh God.
Pierre.
Dudley Do Right.
No, not that one.
Pierre.
Pierre. Yes.
Pierre Le Monarque. So.
Le Fou.
I am Boris Fouquet.
I actually understood you now.
It's amazing. We speak same language.
Yes.
Everywhere I turn around, there
Same
is
language.
the Russian language.
That is right.
Oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Don't ever ask me to do this again.
I didn't ask you to do this.
You just showed up.
17 accents later by the time this is done.
It's good GM practice for when you start your Age of Rebellion game.
Wow.
Then you can have just an English accent with different, volumes and,
But it's just going to go straight back to Scottish.
Yeah, here you go.
So I trust your organizations have outfitted you with the gadgetry you are most comfortable with, or that they are at least most comfortable with you having.
Yes,
Damn straight.
You have kills.
of course.
Yeah.
I never leave anywhere without my
Why,
trusty
do you-
Swiss Army knife.
Do you have some gadgets that you brought with you? I see you look like I'm sorry, but you look like the scientist at home who gives us our stuff.
We all have one.
Yes, and they all look like you.
It generally looks something like you. Some of us have Simon Pegg. It kind of runs the gamut.
But so yeah, you don't So you just come with all these papers to give us photo and funny names.
Well, yes.
Okay. Then we are exactly where you're supposed to be.
I see. I'm sure that you have contacts in Venice
No,
and
I don't
Hong
need
Kong.
contacts.
I'm sure you have friends
Friends.
in Venice and Hong Kong that might be able to help you if you find yourself in need.
Of course I do have friends over there. Do you think I am some kind of idiot?
Well, well, of course not. I would never try
Of course,
to.
you stand around the water cooler, always making fun of Clouseau.
I would never put a label on you.
I would.
So how are we supposed to get there? Do we just board passenger plane? Do we have special secret private stealth jet?
I'm so glad you asked.
Rocket boots?
He digs into his briefcase again and pulls out a small sleeve of cigars and places them on the table.
I don't like these
Yeah,
cigars.
last time we
you
did
pass out.
that.
I'm already smoking.
So Bugs Bunny'd it again.
This is a good cigar.
Yes. You
Cat
would
walks up and grabs a cigar.
Okay. I'm terribly sorry, Vladimir, but this is the way.
This is the way. So what, you don't have red pill and blue pill? You just give me cigar?
Yes.
Is that the only way y'all have? You give cigar, white men come and they take you to new room. You get cigar, white men come and take us to Hong Kong, Venice, or to new room. What?
This is how they relocated the Indians.
To who?
I'm
The
sorry. I'm
Indians.
sorry. Who?
The idiots?
Our Texas boy over here can explain.
So
You'll wake up on a plane, but you cannot know where you are.
oh, well, we are right here.
Yes.
Oh, you could just give simple little blindfold. Could you not at least give better cigars?
Do you? These cigars are top-notch Cuba, but
That is what you think.
you have to understand. We work with primarily super spies, and
what you think we are?
well, I hope that I've given you the proper title in assuming that you can count your footsteps and know directions and general super spy shit.
Is this a dance class? We need to.
I'm
count
assuming
our
he's saying that
footsteps.
while looking at the, like, pretending to sleep Clouseau.
I had assumed that you would. A blindfold would not be sufficient to conceal this location.
I see. So
Putting you
okay.
to sleep is the easiest way for us to.
All right,
What,
line 'em up, fellas.
What poison are you? What sleeping form are you using?
Oh, it's not a poison per se. It's more of a chemical reaction that happens in your brain when you inhale this and the gas that we've been pushing through the vents since before you woke up.
Okay, not like ether or something like that. Something simple. Okay.
Yeah, it's a combination of the two. These are perfectly normal cigars that only harm you with cancer.
It's fine. In places like this, I actually prefer to filter the air through the cigar so I can breathe cleaner.
Nice.
So, I guess this is the way.
It is.
Cheers.
All
I
right.
could really use a nap, so
Oh, I see.
toodles.
I just had a nap. It did not feel so good. I woke up with pain in my chest.
Cat
By
grabs
this point,
it, lights it up and starts
Yes.
to smoke.
Oh, you're
by
going to
this
have a
point,
cat nap.
Clouseau is already inverted in the chair with his feet up on his.
Dangling out of the tapestry. Shoes
we-
off or shoes on?
They're on.
Is
Okay.
it
They've gotta be on.
possible that we can leave him here?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
The people that, well, no, we can't.
Okay. You understand why, of course.
Well, yes, but I don't get paid to understand why. I get paid to put him on a plane.
I see. Okay. So you're just trying to get rid of him too. Okay, I understand.
He did indeed take down all of our tapestries.
Oh, is that what you brought him to redecorate the place? That's very good.
Well, we've been needing a change of feng shui.
I see. Okay. All right.
So we'll screen wipe.
So we're on plan.
Yes, and
Yeah, so they're on plane. Okay, yeah, okay. Da.
so you all wake up. You're on this plane.
It looks like a Tylenol, and it's got wheels on it.
This sort of knockout gas doesn't last for incredibly long, which is fine because where you were and to Venice is not a super duper long flight. I mean, probably 6 hours, I would guess. I haven't looked it up on the Google.
I just love that these super secret places basically just look like somebody's, back of a motel room or something.
Yes. For that space, yes. And so you guys fly. You wake up kind of. You see land to the right, to the left, of course, and you're like over a body of water. Probably going to land in the next 30 to 45 minutes.
Is this a private jet? It's just us?
Yeah, it's just you on this private jet.
And the pilot?
Pilot and co-pilot,
Okay.
radio man, etc. The chairs are nice. Like it's like a private jet. Like the chairs swivel around. There's room just kind of for you guys and maybe a few others.
We get in-flight service on this thing? Or?
It's self-serve, but there is a wet bar available for you and like complimentary snacks that you could consume if you so desired.
Sounds good.
It's been, like I said, it's been like a 6-hour flight, so you haven't eaten since before you were knocked out the first time.
So we can eat some nuts on the way.
Yeah.
The squirrel!
He is here! Start tearing apart the plane.
I found the trail!
So we look out the window and there's a squirrel flying alongside the plane.
Wearing flight goggles.
I do not want to bring alarm, but he may be here tracking us. He has his nuts.
Cat finds a little bit more of the cigarette in her pocket, smokes it and passes back out.
We have cigar if that is not enough.
She doesn't want a part of this.
So you guys do wake up. You spend the rest of the flight kind of reacclimating yourselves, maybe having a drink, maybe having a snack, and you land. And it's, Venice is of course incredibly gorgeous space. You see super fancy Italian cars driving here, there, and everywhere.
Venice, there is no cars.
Oh, you're right. You're right. What am I thinking?
It's the gondola. It's the
gondola.
The gondolas, there's
No,
canals.
but what is there's like an Italian city that's like super famous for the cars being around everywhere.
Rome.
It's not Venice.
Milan?
Probably that.
But that's fashion.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Monaco, and that's in France.
Well, there's Monaco. Then there's also like Naples does have a lot, but that's going to be mostly scooters and things like that as you're going. But it's either scooters or really high-end vehicles.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like the high-end vehicle.
Even Vatican City's got. that's.
But
Yeah,
Rome
Rome.
Rome is really crowded. No one drives through Rome.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, really?
Well, then let me back up and say you see a really crowded space. I don't even know. Like, I'm just making this crap up as I go.
Yeah.
Can planes even land in Venice? I don't know.
No,
I didn't think
you have
so.
to take a boat to
Yeah,
it. It's
that's
an
what I
island,
thought.
guys.
I don't know anything
And it's all
about
canals.
it.
Well, I know
It's all
canals.
walking
I
in
didn't
boats.
realize
We
it
are
was an
uncultured
island, though.
swine.
Yeah,
It's all walking in boats.
I just know Venice is fancy and it's.
You start driving fancy cars, you're just like smashing all of the,
At some point in time,
storefronts.
At some point in
There's no room.
time, some part of this city is sinking with Clouseau here.
That's right. He gets his Humvee. Yeah.
There's little
I'm
boats,
gonna make
you
a
know.
clap so I can cut out me being an idiot at least in the podcast.
YouTube famous, buddy. YouTube famous.
Yeah, so where can you land in Italy?
In Italy?
Not in
Land a plane.
unless you can
in-
land it on water,
Yeah, that plane can land on
They got
water.
airports outside all the major cities, I'm sure.
but you have to like land like closest to like the mainland, and then you would have to take a bus and then or a train, and then you'd have to get on a boat and then go to.
Yeah, so I think
to
you
go to
guys
Venice.
I think you guys would land in Rome, and then make your way to Venice from there.
I'm
There.
planning to have pontoons. You just land right in
I
the
want it to be
canal.
like a big fancy private jet, though.
Well, what would, or we could get on
With
a
a spy jet
submarine,
that comes
and we
in.
could
Nah,
go.
submarines, nah, not yet.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so
Skydive.
We
into
can
Venice?
parachute.
It is
Yeah,
too
parachute
early
into
for
Venice.
such things.
Huh? We can wrap him up.
You know, Florence is pretty like lots of cathedrals and lots of fancy like art and sculptures and stuff like that, and there's room to drive.
Okay, cool. Then let's do that. Florence.
Okay.
We land in Florence. And you guys do see all the fancy cars that I was talking about previously. And
The only car that catches his eye is a 420.
okay.
Is a Fiat 500.
No, I've got to.
I know.
They're so small.
I've got to go with the 420, the smart car. Has to. That's
Okay.
It's what he drives. That's what he loves.
So it's like an Aventador.
Okay, so you guys land, and you do you want to take in any sights while you're here in Florence, or do you want to go straight for Venice to try to find this little lady?
We are on the mission. We're not here to sightsee.
Well, don't tell me, tell them.
We're gonna have to get on them.
I see. We are on mission. We are not here to sightsee.
Yeah, I'm with Mr. Pierre Rockmaballs.
Yeah.
The faster I can get out of this one's company,
We all agree
I'll
on
be
that.
okay with that.
He's staring at the sun. It is in the wrong place.
It is eclipse.
You should be staring at the statue of David's ding-along.
We're not there yet.
I think it is bugged.
I must check this. There is a package here.
So you all get on a boat.
You were not ready for this, were you?
Oh, I was ready for anything.
It's
Better than I could ever imagine.
We can't get on a boat directly from Florence.
No, you can't. But you gotta make your way to the right.
I couldn't go anywhere.
Are you an
It's another
Italian
land.
tour guide or something?
No, I've just been there. I've been all over Italy.
Okay.
So it's like we would literally jump on a boat, and it's like, where would you go? It's in the middle.
Everywhere I turn, it's fascists.
Hop a bus. Hop a bus and go south.
I want to get on one of those little buggies things, that everybody jumps in the back like a little truck, and everybody piles on board, and you see them all over Hong Kong.
Yeah, but not Italy. A farmer's truck. It's like bringing in his local produce.
A cabbage truck.
Where is Venice? I'm like sitting here looking at a map trying to find the dang thing.
Low. And by the Mediterranean?
The whole thing.
Well, I know that. It kicks out.
It's kind of this boot. And it's
But I
surrounded
mean,
by
like, it's
water.
actually
By the
like...
Mediterranean.
It's like actually not like inland. Like
It's like Florida. Everything is by the ocean.
I know that.
I know
But
you
I
know
meant
that.
like it's not like in the middle of Italy. It's like a little island. So you have to take a boat to. You can't just go from Florence to a boat.
That's fine. I can't find it on this map.
We are secret
map is not
agents. We can do what we want. We have gadgets. I have both in my back pocket.
I'll just see you there.
Yes.
I put a rocket pack on my back.
And you turn into squirrel.
It's northeast Italy,
Okay.
and that top northeast corner of Italy.
There it is. Hey, I
Yeah.
found it. I was looking down at the
And where's
bottom
Florence? It's in the inland, right? In like the middle. Or am I not thinking of that? Am I thinking of
I think we're getting hung up on geography when we just have to just narratively say we landed in one place and drove to the other.
There you go. That works.
And took a boat at some point.
Yeah, at some point.
And then jumped back. And then we got on horse.
And then we rode sheep.
Yes.
And somewhere we stopped and stomped on the grapes.
That's right. Yes.
We must. Yeah, cool. I found it. Now I have geographically in my head where I'm trying to take you guys.
Okay.
Okay. So you drive for quite a while to the north.
What kind of secret agents are we? we need better staff, better organization.
So, my friend, I will always try and make sure that we are up to par. So, at random times, I will attack you. You must make sure that you are always diligent.
I would recommend that you do not do that. I do not think that would go well for you. Why don't we just get an Alfa Romeo and we drive there?
So you guys get in the car.
All our gadgets, we don't have a GPS.
You get on a boat to travel to Venice proper.
Shotgun!
And while
He's
you're on
not
the boat,
driving.
There's going to be some doorway that I'm like hanging over that you see. And that when you're trying to walk up towards it, I like fall flat in front of you and stand up at some point. Good one.
and that's where we'll end our session. Thanks so much.